Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, looks like this thing is recording right. Okay, we're gonna knock out some lightning today. I penciled in some lightning last night. I started to ink it, and I was like, you know what? YouTube's gonna kill me if I jump ahead. But anyway, I just sketched it in. I've kind of got like arcing lightning. So it goes like this. It cuts through Hulk, not like in front. What I mean is, to keep the composition, I have it arcing this way. It shoots behind him, and then there's some that comes down here. And again, this, what I'll do is I'll ink it with these type of lines, and then at the end I'll go in, white out. That's why I'm doing the lightning now, is so I don't have to white out a ton of lines. But anyway, I'll white out the pieces that maybe need white in between, and then there'll be splatter off the lightning, so it will really give it a dynamic effect. But looks like, hey, get down from there. Sorry, got a cat. Like, I stuck some guitar picks up on some books. They know there's stuff up there, little stuff that they can steal. Okay, let me grab my nib. And here we go. Hope everyone's doing well today. Actually, it's funny. I just rewatched my video from yesterday, and when it was done, it kicked me over to Jim Lee's channel. We're bonded in blood. Okay, so it always cracks me up to hear Jim talk for you guys. Because having so many conversations with Jim at Wildstorm, it's kind of fun to hear him chat with like everyone. And man, I'm really excited. I haven't been able to go through his channel. I watched the first. Let me make sure I'm in frame. I watched the first 2 live streams that he did on his Twitch channel. It was really fun. I think he was doing them on Sundays, and yeah, and then I just got busy, and I want to watch the videos. I don't want to just listen to them. So I've been kind of like, I'm kind of setting a goal in my mind to, I'm going to download them all and then obviously save them just for future reference. But I want to start going through them, and maybe even worst case scenario, I will just go through them during anything. Okay, so what I'm doing with the lightning, just so that I explain what I'm doing, is bouncy, sharp lines. They can break up a little bit. Lightning isn't a solid object, so a nice varied line so that it's interesting to look at. And I went in really, really loose with my pencils on this because I knew I was going to ink it, and it's such an organic thing with lightning that besides just drawing it in poorly chosen directions, it's pretty forgiving in terms of like inking it. I think. I mean, just you don't want to make ridiculously thick lines that are gonna maybe like be more interesting than some of the other stuff they put. Actually, I'm seeing in my mind little gaps maybe in the lightning here that would make it kind of interesting and like it's breaking apart. It was funny. I don't know why, but I was thinking of Bob Ross this morning, or like his commentary when he would do his painting, I guess, TV show, and it's like the whole happy little trees and clouds and all that. But one thing that you see when you watch him work is there's a lot of spontaneity to it. But within that, I actually have seen a documentary on his show, and he did actually generally do the pieces one time before he would do them for the actual recording of the show. So he would do one pass where it was like a rehearsal, and then he would go in and knock out the piece for the show. Still, the guy is incredible. I mean, but it shows something that is something that I talk about here, is drawing is not as hard as people make it out to be. There's a certain amount of things that you need to learn, and when you can execute that stuff on a fairly consistent basis, you can do some pretty believable stuff. And then, for someone like Bob, he had sort of a wheelhouse that he worked in, meaning that he did landscapes. But within that, even he expanded and mixed it up a little bit. And if you watch a lot of those, some are on YouTube now. I mean, I have quite a few that I saved off of just like when they would pop up, I would save them, and then sometimes they get pulled down or whatever. But you know, I talk about like your toolbox. It's all experience, and it just kind of adds up on itself. And then there's things that you almost don't even need to think about when you work. You just kind of keep adding to it. And again, at the very, very end, I will go in with white. And I'm going to cut through some of the lightning. And also, there'll be like little bits of splatter and stuff that will bounce off this. I can try them in the frame. I'm doing a pretty tight shot, so it does make it difficult to show the whole piece while I'm working, but I think people would probably rather have the tight shot within that. Oh, and that actually brings me to Patreon. We're really, really close to the $40 goal. At $40, I'm actually going to buy a new piece of gear for the channel. So again, you don't have to go to Patreon and support every month if you can't afford it or don't even want to. But if you want to go and even just tip $1 or $2 and get me to the $40 goal, that would be great. I mean, the first thing that I was thinking about getting was a better audio mic. The one on this camera is not so bad, but the one on my other camera is pretty crappy, and better audio would definitely make the channel sound cooler. And then I want to get a couple more stands for cameras so that I can have better shots within it. Right now I'm using just sort of like it's a free floating kind of like flexible arm thing. It works all right. It's got its limitations. And then the big goals, if I can actually get where I'm got a little decent amount of cash coming through Patreon, I would like to get like some better recording equipment. There's the talkative cat. Ain't time for lunch yet. Hit the road. If she keeps going, I'll kick her out. I don't even know if you can hear it. Yeah, I'm starting to get excited to see this done. And then we're going to get into drawing videos. I actually had an idea last night, which is kind of interesting, hold on, I'm going to shut the office door because she keeps crying. Give me 1 sec, I'll finish this piece of lightning. But yeah, what I'm going to do on Patreon for the people who are supporting me is I'm actually going to start doing a preview of the drawing videos that I'm doing. So there's going to be a warm-up for a couple of weeks while I'm finishing all my deadlines. Where I actually at night might try to throw up like 5 to 10 minute videos of me kind of dusting off my penciling skills, because I haven't drawn. I mean, besides I did a black drawing, I don't consider that necessarily comic drawing though, just because it's so much more labor intensive. But yeah, I'm talking about like creative figure drawing and stuff that really is more akin to comics. And I may actually even have a little more lightning coming off of these pieces, but for right now, this at least will get me headed the right direction. Okay, so I'm going to shut my office door. I'm going to pause this for 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, but you know, it's crazy. As busy as my day is right now, I'm still kind of inspired to do more, which is good. I'm excited about things, so it's making it a lot of fun. But I wanted to, what it was, I was waiting for a page a couple of, like 2 days ago, and it was one of those things where I knew I was going to get hammered and really have quite a bit of work to do that day. So I didn't want to do too much before I had to start working, just because it's like, you don't want to sit and like crank out 5 hours of inks on something and then have to get a full page that you're going to need to do that day. So I grabbed the pencil and I started drawing, and it really wasn't bad. So that kind of got me excited about it, where I was like, all right, you know what, like I a lot of times kind of undersell myself in my own mind of like where I'm at, or you know what I mean. Like, again, I've talked about like coming up and learning, because when I got to Wildstorm, I really couldn't draw comic book stuff at all. I just had good control to ink. I was my office mates were all these like incredibly talented people that had probably been drawing for at least 5 years, if not probably 10. Even if they were young, if they were 21, they probably had been drawing pretty regularly for, at least 5 years. And you're talking about Travis Charest, Adam Hughes, J. Scott Campbell, Jim Lee, Wolf Portacio, Brett Booth, Ryan Benjamin, like all these guys, they were all really, really good. Tom McWeeny, trying to think, Matt Broom, and when you're learning an environment like that, it's a very inspiring environment, but at the same time, talk about like setting your standards on a weird table, right out of the gate. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've talked about this a tiny bit, where like Todd McFarlane has said in the past that he wouldn't look at the best guys, he would look at the worst guys, and that gave him confidence to like keep going with his own work. Is like, if this sucky guy can get work, then so can I. And yeah, that is definitely one way to keep the fires burning at home for what you want to do. But at the same time, you do want to be a little bit careful of you should have some standards of, and Todd did, but don't aim too low, because you might be in for a rude awakening trying to get work. If like you're like, well, I'm better than the worst guy, and the company's like, what? We don't know what that means, we don't speak that language. So that would be pretty funny. Although I've heard stories, and I even did this myself. It was stupid, and I was young, and it's kind of embarrassing. But when I sent out my first promo pack, I don't remember what I wrote, honestly. But I knew that I was really close to getting work, and Tom DeFalco from Marvel called me on the phone and yelled at me for like the letter that I had attached to my samples. Because I was like, guys should consider hiring me because I'm getting pretty good, and like I'm gonna go fast, something like that. I don't know. Like I was crazy and young and full of confidence, and it's like, this is getting hot. You need to snap me up. Let's do this. But he was right. I was wrong. So there you go. All right, there's a lot of wet ink on this. I'm going to pause this for a second and let this dry, and then we'll come back to this because I don't want to have any mistakes. Okay, I waited like 2 minutes. What happens is when you blip and blop, meaning a lot of thick and thin, you can definitely get a lot of wet ink, and it's actually quite rainy out today, ironically enough, at my house. So it's damp, and when it's damp out, it can definitely take longer for ink to dry. So you have to be mindful of that, and you don't want to make a mistake just because you were in a rush. Which is why sometimes inking can take longer. There's a level of care that you have to have with everything, where when you pencil something, although there's more time spent on the front end planning everything, I would think that unless you're struggling with a drawing, that inking probably does take longer. Meaning, like if a penciler was like starting and stopping a lot, which when you become a professional penciler, I think that over time that does slowly eliminate, or at least chill out a little bit. Put a double line here. It feels like it needs it. I'm actually going to put another one of those little gaps here, and then I think one right there. Again, it just feels like it needs it. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to keep a little bit of this. But I kind of like defocus my eyes, and then I can look at the details as I'm doing stuff, and it just helps you do it. Okay, so I'm going to pause it again, let that dry, and then we're going to do some raindrops. Okay, so I'll be right back in 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of the dense rain on Hulk's backside. I went in and actually just inked the signatures really fast, and then that was really it. But I was letting it dry, and I was like, I kind of just wanted to keep moving just to maximize my time. All right, so yeah, we're going to do some dense rain back here, and you'll see I'm going to fan back out later over the whole piece. But let's do this. I was noticing I was going to actually try to show a bit of a demo on doing some of the rain in Micron, just to show that it is possible to do some of the effects in Micron. But this Marvel paper is actually a little toothy, and it just really wasn't, the lines weren't going down well, so it was kind of it was no go for that. I call them juicy, but like when you get like a new Micron, they definitely have more ink and are a little more flush. There's a way that you can actually refill Microns. I'll show you guys that later, but you know, you can actually put your own ink into a Micron and maybe make it more juicy. It's like kind of like a Copic. Adam Hughes had done a tutorial on Copic markers, and he would refer to it as like a juicy marker too. So thick and thin, space these lines out a little bit. But yeah, I want the background on this piece is actually going to be pretty dark. So what we see now is kind of like just a lead into how actual intense it's all going to be. I'm going to take it probably to about the darkness of kind of in here, not the black, but you'll see what I mean as we move along. And this is fun, and I mean, it gets the oohs and the ahs because there's like a ton of detail, and it's to be honest, it's just more level of patience than some sort of blow away technique, or at least like, I mean, when you get this down, I mean, it's not like that big of a deal. It's like, how patient are you, and do you want to sit and draw speed lines for hours? But again, there's ways that you can, you know, if you start making the wrong calls on pieces, like I talk about, that inner core strength that a drawing has, you can kind of goof it up. So you always want to be mindful of what is going on. I'm kind of looking forward to doing some of the splatter on the piece, honestly. I think it's going to be really fun. Fun. I mean, like I said, I mean, I mentioned it in one of the earlier chunks. It feels weird because I'm not used to starting and stopping videos that much, but I am really looking forward to just getting to drawing on this channel more than inking. And again, we'll ink some of the pieces, but that's where this channel is really going to flourish. There's no doubt in my mind, because as cool as this is, I'm gonna bring it. I'm not messing around. So we're gonna kick things up like some major notches. It may take me a couple months to get used to it, but once we get going, I'm telling you, it's full speed, full steam ahead. I think is that what I call it? Full speed ahead. I can't even think of the term. Okay, so this cuts in and out of sort of ribbons off of Hulk's thing, so you want to make sure that you draw all the lines. I'll come back and do this one missing line in a sec, but I don't need to worry about it right now because the ink is wet. I can't go backwards at this point. There's no going back. This is interesting doing this with a camera like about an inch from my eye. Not even that, it's like less. It's right in front of my eyes right now. It's very weird. So I can't, I'm like, it blocks my view. And I like I said, I kind of defocus my eyes when I work, and take in like quite a bit of the piece, because I'm always monitoring the value, meaning like the overall like tonal quality of the piece. And yeah, it's just kind of weird when you're like, I'm seeing maybe how much of it when I'm doing it right like this, maybe 15% of the piece. It's a little weird. And it's honestly, it's why, I mean, I am working on black drawing right now, but I don't want to even risk trying to do a video of that process, because I really have to focus. I'm telling you, like, those pieces are me putting every ounce of like sort of know-how that I have into them, and I can't sit and be talking and having a camera in my eye yet. There will be a point where I'll be able to do it, or I can at least do parts. But for people, I know that I had one question about that, and it's like, we'll build up to it. What I can do it in more simple pieces that use the same techniques, you know, where I'm not 30 hours into a drawing and then I screw it up because I'm trying to make a YouTube video that I'll earn 12 cents on. Yeah, for people jumping into YouTube thinking that they're going to make a ton of money, I wish everyone luck. You really, really need to have thousands and thousands of views and followers. I mean, it's pretty insane. It's way more work, especially if you're already a successful artist. To do it is kind of like, you're doing it for passion, which is why I do it. It's just because I actually enjoy being on YouTube. Or you know, you'll get disappointed pretty fast, because it's like, and it's interesting too, because you get statistics on the channel and you'll see, you go like, man, live, seriously? Like, talk about a slow burn. So much rain, so much lightning. I'm actually working around this stuff too, which is, you can draw through. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if the stop and start feels a little uncomfortable for you moving around objects, you can actually just draw through the lightning and then at the end put white lines through it. It's not a big deal. Some people get real, you know, where it's like they don't want that much white out on a piece, but it can make sense in certain scenarios just to keep the integrity of the line quality consistent throughout the stroke. I'll show you what I mean. I'll do some down here. So I'm going to draw them through, and you'll see. That way what happens is your line's going to match up perfectly. Like any thin, thick that's going on is going to be right on point. I'm going to mix up some of the actual start-stop points so that it doesn't just turn into like wallpaper. This is all in frame. We're just going to finish this one little section, then we're going to call this video a wrap. Oh, you know what? I've only got 3 minutes left on my camera, so we'll go through this real quick. And again, I may even go through and do a little bit more rain in here. It is totally possible. So even with the door shut, my cat still, it's like, dude, come on, it's time for lunch. Let's hook this up. So there's two ways that you can do it. Then obviously you see that like drawing through is going to get you a very, very consistent line all the way through the stroke, which it really actually looks better ultimately. When you try to stop and go around like objects that are going to be in front of or behind, or yeah, they're in front of speed lines. It's not a great call. You're not going to have the consistency of what this is going to give, and a little bit of whiteout through the lightning is not a big deal, considering ultimately what you want is you want something that feels pretty natural. Right, we did it. There was one tiny little smear. I could probably not say anything and no one would notice it, but because I'm trying to do the video and thing, it's super duper small, but it's right there. But I can actually take white and just go right in between there, and I'll kind of manicure this right here, just the tiniest bit. And there may be even a little bit of white splatter that goes over that anyway. But yeah, do you see how much more consistent these lines are than these? And what I'll do, I'll blend this in right here. See, it's a little darker than these. So it didn't totally match up, but I can just throw like a white line through there and that will sort of disintegrate that anomaly. But yeah, so there you go. And that's going to look real nice. Man, I'll tell you what, when we put the white through the lightning there and then hit it with a little splatter, it's going to look killer. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Smash the like button. Have a great day and draw and have fun. All right? Rich out.